Bubble Busters!
I'm Hikari. After my husband Sutamu and I got married, my parents-in-law got us a big house so we could all live together. Our houses are connected, but we have separate front doors. My father-in-law is usually out with friends or at work, and my mother-in-law respects our space and privacy, so I don't mind living with them. This past year, my husband and I were finally able to have a child. Our baby girl, Momo, is growing up so fast. She's already 8 months old. We couldn't put her in daycare yet, so after my maternity leave was up, my mother-in-law started watching Momo while I'm away at work. One day, I left Momo with my mother-in-law as usual and went to work. When I checked my phone at work, I saw lots of texts and missed calls from my mother-in-law. Panicked, I texted her back right away. Hikari, it's a disaster. What should I do? Please, calm down. What happened? I can't text well. My hands are shaky. Oh my gosh. She's shaking? She's really upset. Okay, then let's talk on the phone. No, I can't talk now. There are police officers nearby. Police officers? What in the world happened? Well, you see, around noon I gave Momo her milk and put her to bed. After that, I took a nap next to Momo. When I woke up, Momo was gone. What? I looked all around the room for her. She can crawl now, so I thought she might have crawled around somewhere on her own. That's when I noticed that the door was left open. I'm sure I closed it before I fell asleep. You don't think that someone kidnapped Momo? It's possible. That's why I called the police right away. Then, I tried to contact you and Sutamu, but the police arrived before either of you answered, so I had to explain what happened to the police first. So that's why there are police officers there? Exactly. Just a second ago, I got a call on our landline from Toribus Hospital. They said they're taking Momo to the hospital in an ambulance and need to get in contact with her parents. Toribus Hospital? Isn't that the hospital with the pediatrician we take Momo to for her asthma? A few months after Momo was born, she started showing signs of asthma. We had to take her to the hospital for her asthma treatments every week, and sometimes she even had to be hospitalized. That's why we couldn't put her in daycare yet, and why we needed my mother-in-law to babysit her. Yes, it's the same hospital. I have no idea why she's being taken there. I don't know all the details either. What should I do? It's okay. I'll leave work early and go to the hospital. Please just explain what happened to the police and go back home. I explained the situation to my boss and he let me leave work right away. I immediately got a taxi and headed to the hospital. At the hospital, a nurse took me to Momo's room. Oh, Momo, what happened? Why was she hospitalized?
Oh, Miss Hikari.
Oh, doctor. I didn't know you were taking care of her. I'm glad you're here. Why is she in the hospital? She was just at home with my mother-in-law.
Actually, Momo was brought here by paramedics. This gentleman called the paramedics and came to the hospital with her.
What? Dad? What are you doing here?
I had a feeling he might be Momo's grandfather. When I asked him who he was earlier, he told me he was just a passerby.
What? Why would you lie about that?
It's not my fault. I wanted to show off my grandchild to my friends at the casino. So I just borrowed her for a bit while my wife was napping.
You're kidding. You took her without telling anyone, and what's worse, you brought her to a casino? You brought her to that stuffy casino you always go to, the one full of cigarette smoke?
I just wanted to pop in for a sec and go back home. But I happened to get a lucky machine. I just couldn't leave it. I was only going to play for a little bit, so I let Momo nap next to me. When I looked closer, I saw that she was panting and wheezing. I panicked and told the casino staff about it, and they called an ambulance.
You wanted to pop in for a sec? What were you thinking? She has severe asthma. You knew that she was hospitalized many times for her asthma. The rest of us are all going out of our way to keep her asthma under control. Mother and I clean her room every day now. We keep an air purifier in her room, and Sutamu even quit smoking. You should know better. You live with us.
How should I know? It's the woman's job to raise children, so why would I know anything about that? Back in my day, there were no babies with asthma anyway.
Yes, there were. You just didn't know about them. While my father-in-law were fighting, my mother-in-law and Sutamu arrived at the hospital. The doctor explained Momo's condition to us again. Momo's condition had gotten much worse from all the smoke in the casino. If she had stayed there much longer, she could have suffocated. Her condition now is highly unstable. We needed time to process everything, so we went home. Sutamu, have you seen your father?
Oh, he said he was going out for a walk. Hey, Hikari, do you think you could apologize to my dad?
What?
I mean, the thing is, you know my dad is stubborn and set in his ways. I know what he did was wrong, but he's too prideful to apologize after you called him out like that.
It doesn't matter that he's stubborn and old-fashioned. He almost killed our daughter. Stop going easy on him. I'll have you know, I'm not about to apologize ever. And even if he apologized to me, I'm not going to forgive him.
Then how are we supposed to move on from this? We live together.
We'll just have to get divorced. I'll take Momo with me. I don't want to live with someone that puts Momo in danger. And if you're defending someone who put her life at risk, then you're not good for her either.
What?
I thought I was the only one who could protect Momo, but there was someone else who genuinely put Momo and I first. I won't forgive you. Trouble Busters! Sutamu, stop being ridiculous. You know that this incident was entirely your father's fault. I can't believe you would try to make Hikari apologize.
But
you should be prioritizing your child and your wife. This whole incident reminded me of a time when you were young. When you were a baby, around Momo's age, I came down with a cold, so I asked your father to take care of you. He just completely ignored you. He didn't even notice when you ate some old cigarettes left on the floor and started looking pale. We had to call an ambulance to take you to the emergency room.
what? I had no idea that happened.
So this was the second time he almost killed a baby? Hikari, I understand why you would want to get a divorce. Your husband is defending the crazy old man that put your baby's life at risk. But please, wait a little longer before you make any big decisions. What do you mean? Both of your parents have already passed away, and you don't have anywhere else to go. I'm worried about you. If you got divorced and left with Momo, the two of you would be all alone. Well, my mother-in-law's right. With my parents gone, I have no relatives I can stay with or ask for help. So please, just trust me for a little longer. Hold off on getting a divorce for now. I promise I'll protect you and Momo. But I just can't let Momo keep living with someone so dangerous. I know how you feel. I feel the same way. That's why I'll be getting a divorce. Oh, Mother! I should have divorced him sooner. If only I had divorced him back when he put Sutamu's life in danger. Momo wouldn't have had to go through all of this.
But Mom!
Sutamu, apologize to Hikari. This is your last chance. Whether she forgives you or not is up to her. But if you don't take back what you said, I don't think she'll change her mind on wanting to divorce you. I was a homemaker and entirely dependent on your father, so I had to put up with him. Hikari has her own job and a good salary. She doesn't need to depend on you for anything. She could easily get a divorce.
Hikari, I'm sorry.
I can't forgive you right away, but your mother is right. I have no family to help me raise Momo, and I can't put her in daycare yet because of her condition. I'll give you a second chance. Just this once. To be honest, I want to get a divorce as soon as possible, but I need to put Momo first. I'm sorry you have to make such a difficult decision. I'll set Sutamu straight. You just think about Momo. Sutamu and I will do our best to regain your trust. The next day, my mother-in-law handed my father-in-law divorce papers to sign. My father-in-law grumbled angrily, saying things like, "If you want a divorce that badly, I'll give you a divorce." He signed the papers right away out of spite. He probably thought she wouldn't go through with the divorce. To his surprise, my mother-in-law went straight to the local civic center and filed the divorce papers. When she got home, my father-in-law started yelling at her. My mother-in-law simply said, "If you want to argue about it, I'll call my lawyer over, but we might get some unwanted attention from our neighbors." To that, my father-in-law finally gave up and left the house without a fuss. In the end, my father-in-law got to keep their savings and my mother-in-law got to keep the house. My father-in-law had no idea how hard it'd be for an elderly man like him to rent a house alone. He seems to be having a hard time finding a place to live. Even when he did finally find a good place, he couldn't get a guarantor for it. Sutamu, my mother-in-law, and I all refused to vouch for him. All he could get without a guarantor was a dirty, run-down apartment full of bugs and rats. Thanks to her doctors and nurses, Momo was able to fully recover and come home from the hospital. She didn't have any big asthma attacks after that and was able to grow up healthy and strong. Her asthma got better by the time she started kindergarten. My mother-in-law still helps us watch Momo. She really set Sutamu straight too. Now he's finally being a good father to Momo. I still have some reservations about him, but I'm glad I didn't make a rash decision and get a divorce. I know I made the right decision. Trouble Busters!